Hey, good morning. How are you? Today we're going to replace a condensing unit. This is a property where we have 42 condensing units in the rooftop, and let me show you. So as you could see, we have 42. I don't know if you see them over there. Today is a beautiful day to be on the roof. It's about 54 degrees. No, we're not gonna have any sun beating at us. We don't need hats or umbrellas or sunglasses. So this is the equipment we're gonna use today, and this is the condensing unit we're gonna replace. It is 30 years old, too old to replace parts. Bee nest. And this is the new unit we're going to install. It's a 1.5 ton Duquesne 22, and it is a 22 because we purchased 30 of these 10 years ago, so we're stuck with them, so we're going to replace it. Okay guys, so don't go anywhere. I'll be right back. So since we are going to recover the refrigerant, we have to put it in a tank, right? So this is a recovery tank. This is a brand new. I have to mark it R22 only. Remember, you cannot mix refrigerants. And we're going to pull a vacuum on this tank. You always have to recovery on a tank that has a vacuum on it, because if you don't do that, there is air inside, and that air contains humidity, and you don't want refrigerant and water to be mixed. So this is my setup. I have a T here. I have two hoses. This is a 1/2 inch and a 3/8, and I'm gonna recover it from both sides at the same time, so it's gonna be fast. You know, remember, time is of the essence, and you want to recover and to vacuum with thick hoses, no restrictions. So I'm gonna turn my micron gauge, which is on, and then let's see how long it takes to pull a vacuum. So it is 2:14. So remember, you want on the 500 microns, and right now we're in the 400s. Okay, so after 4 minutes, it's 290, so that's enough. I'm gonna close my valves. And turn my pump off. Hey guys, I wanted to do the recovery on this system, but I just find out by playing with the cores. I depress the core and nothing comes out. So there's no refrigerant in this system. So we're gonna continue with the installation. We're gonna go ahead and cut the pipes and then do the rest. So no can do the recovery this time. Now we're gonna cut the suction line. And now we're gonna do the liquid line. So we're going to start brazing, so I have to remove the core that is inside the valve, so we can put nitrogen through the system. So I'm going to remove my core with this tool. This is a core removal tool, and we're going to get ready to braze pretty soon. So I'm using a core tool remover. So this is the core of the valve. I removed this one already, and I'm gonna connect my hoses for the nitrogen. Okay, so I'm ready to braze. I have my nitrogen tank, and if you see here, this orange ball, it has to be into this braze line, so it has to float for a little bit. So let's you see it floating? So right there. Now we have nitrogen flowing through the system. This is my hose, and it's gonna go through the suction line, and through the suction line the nitrogen is gonna run. This is closed, so it's gonna go that way. It's gonna go to the evaporator, it's gonna turn, it's gonna come back through this suction, through the liquid line. So the nitrogen is gonna bring out all the impurities, the black stuff, the nasty stuff from the brazing. So when you braze with nitrogen, it's much better because it cleans your system. So now we're gonna braze. I like to use the turbo touch with acetylene only. So I'm gonna check for leaks. I pressurized my system with nitrogen 200 psi, and it's been 10-15 minutes, and it's holding the pressure, and I'm checking for leaks. So no leaks whatsoever, so that's good. So now we are gonna run a vacuum and then turn it on and charge it if it needs any gas. So I'm gonna release the nitrogen. So now I'm gonna start my vacuum, and let me just show you the setup. I'm using 3 Appian core valve removal. These are awesome to have. If you're a beginner, buy at least 3 or 4. You know, if you have maybe 6, it'll be awesome, but 3, at least 3, that'll be sufficient to do recovery, to do vacuum, to do some other stuff. So let me show you what I'm gonna do. So this is the core valve remover tool. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna remove the part that removes the core, and then at the I'm gonna connect it to my suction line, and then at the end I'm gonna have my hose, and this is the thicker hose for the suction line, and on this side, on the side, I'm gonna have another Appian valve, so I can control it with this valve here, and I'm gonna have my micron gauge right here. So we're gonna do the same on the liquid line. Remember, I removed the tool that removes the core, the stem, and now I'm gonna put it in my liquid line. And it has to be very it has to be tight, but not super tight. And remember, this side has to be close too. And then at this end I'm gonna have, and let me show you, there's no restrictions. I remove all the restrictions, so there is no restriction. There's no core valve from the machine, no core valve on the tool removal, on the core tool removal, no restriction whatsoever. And I'm using 1/2 inch and 3/8 hoses. No, actually this is a 1/4, but this is a 1/2 inch. So let me show you. I have a T right here at my pump. So my thicker hose goes to the suction line, and my smaller, with no restriction, is going to my liquid line here. I'm gonna show you how long it takes. So let's turn it on. So I just turned on my vacuum pump, and it's 3:15, and look at that, it's already going 2,500 microns. So remember, you need less than at least 500 microns, but if you go to 300, 200, it'll be best. And remember, time is of the essence. The faster you do everything, you know, more time for you, more power for you, more power to you. So in 1 minute, it's 316. In 1 minute, it went to 280. So I'm gonna go to 250, and it's still 1 minute. Wow. Okay, so at minute number 2, I shut off my vacuum, and I shut off the suction line, the liquid line. I have my gauge open, so it reads, right now it's at 290, and I'm gonna wait 10-15 minutes to make sure that it holds the vacuum. And it was 300, then it went to 290, 280, and it's still pulling vacuum even though I have my pump off. So I guess that's a good sign. It is 3:23, and we start the vacuum at 3:20. So in 10 minutes we'll see. Okay, after 12 minutes we're at 260. It kept going down instead of up. You worry if the microns go up. If it goes down, it's, you know, better vacuum. So and it's been 11 minutes, so I'm gonna call it good. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna shut my micron gauge so it's not disturbed with any pressure, and then I'm gonna remove my hoses. And now I'm gonna put my core valve. This goes inside. This is the one that seals and keeps the refrigerant in. So this is part of the core removal tool. So I'm gonna put it at the end, and then I'm gonna put it in, like that. I'm gonna push this part and I'm gonna lock it. So now I'm gonna open my valve here and I'm gonna push. Now my stem is gonna be able to go all the way, and then I'm gonna turn in clockwise to lock my shredded valve in. It felt like it grabbed, and now I'm gonna test it. I'm gonna open up this side. So it's good. And now I'm gonna remove this valve from the from this valve. And now the liquid line has the core valve inside, and is what is going to keep the refrigerant inside the machine. So one more time, we're going to do the same with the suction line. Remember, I removed my core valve at the beginning, so there was no restrictions for the vacuum. So now I'm going to put my core valve into the tool, and it's like so, and this is going to hold it. I'm gonna put it in, and then this side I'm gonna push in so it seals. And now I'm gonna open up my valve and I'm gonna push the core valve, and you're gonna feel that it goes in. That feels tight. And now I'm gonna remove my micron gauge. Thank you. And now I'm gonna remove this valve, and if I don't hear anything, that means it's sealed. So we are sealed. Now I'm gonna remove this. And that's it. We have, now we want to remove these for the valves, for the king valves, because we're going to open up. So the remember, the refrigerant is stored in this machine inside, and it has enough for 15-20 feet of line set. And my apartment is right below me, so I have like 15, so I think we're good. So we're gonna do, we have our Allen key, and this is 3/16 for the Duquesne, and it's, make sure it fits well. And then you have your ratchet tool. I'm gonna change it, so I'm gonna open it. And you're gonna go all the way up, but make sure you don't force it. Once you feel a little bit of once you feel that you went all the way up, then you're good. Okay, that's it. Go back a little bit so there's no pressure. Now we're gonna do the same with the liquid line. Okay, that's it all the way up, and then go back a little bit. So that's it. So you apply some to the stems, make sure they are not leaking. So they're not, they look good. Okay. So now we're gonna cap this. And just to make sure it's tight, just at 1/16, 1/32, that's nothing, just ding, that's it. And do the same on this one. It's just a tiny one, just so we know that it's there. Right there, that's nothing. And now we're gonna clean. I'm gonna blow with nitrogen, and then I'm gonna hook my my gauges to see how we are. So I have my wet bulb on the register. That's the only return on the apartment, and I'm measuring the temperature coming out of the vent. So I just put my two probes inside, and the wet bulb is 62, 63, and my probe in the register is the air coming out of the vent is 52, 51 degrees, so it's pretty cold. Now I'm gonna go up to the roof. Hopefully the Bluetooth gets everything so I can get my superheat. And remember, this is a piston, so we're gonna make sure it has the right charge by superheat. So we're gonna check with superheat because it has an orifice. This is R22, and the temperature outside is 85, and my wet bulb is 64. So I have to have it's about 86. My outside temperature, and my wet bulb 64, so I have to have about 10 of superheat. So my superheat was right at target. It was 12, I needed 11, so I didn't do anything. 12 is good, so that's it. If the superheat was higher than 12, then we add refrigerant to bring it lower. If it was less than 12, then we recover refrigerant, but it was 12, so it was right at target. Okay, so I guess that's it for today. Everything checked out good. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. Look at that. I know that you want to see, but I see a train there. Okay guys, thanks for watching. Oh, look at that airplane. Can you see it? Yeah, thanks for watching, and please don't forget to like and subscribe. And catch you later.